Well, I've been asked to make more videos. I was actually told, hey, where are the new videos? We need more videos. Well, here's another video. And thanks to my most recent new subscribers. It's kind of amazing. I don't know where people are coming from. Anyway, it's probably due to Billy Bob Joe 57 because I piggyback with him quite a bit. And thank you, Joe. Um, we all need to get the message out there, don't we? Anyway, I'd like to share today some excerpts from a very extraordinary speech given by Daniel Ellsberg. And for those of you who don't know who Daniel Ellsberg is, essentially he was a former Defense Department official back in the Vietnam War days, and he was the person who leaked the Pentagon Papers to the press at the risk of his own career and personal safety, I might say. And he is basically a voice in the darkness today. And here are some excerpts from a speech which he recently gave in September, actually, at an American University symposium. And it's entitled, A Coup Has Occurred. So here's some excerpts from this speech. I think nothing has higher priority than averting an attack on Iran, which I think will be accompanied by a further change in our way of governing here that in effect will convert us into what I should call a police state. If there is another 9/11 under this regime, it means that they will switch on to the full extent all the apparatus of a police state which has been patiently constructed, largely secretly at first, but eventually leaked out and known and accepted by the democratic people in Congress and by Republicans as well. Will there be anything left for NSA to increase its surveillance of us? They may be to the limit of their technical capability now, or they may not. But if they're not now, what will they do after another 9/11? And I would say after the Iranian retaliation to an American attack on Iran, you will then see an increased attack on Iran, an escalation, which will also be accompanied by a total suppression of dissent in this country, including detention camps. It's a little hard for me to distinguish the two contingencies. They all come together. Another 9/11 or an Iranian attack in which Iran's reaction against Israel, against our shipping, against our troops in Iraq above all, possibly in this country, will justify the full measures that have been prepared now, legitimized and written into law. This is an unusual gang even for the Republicans, but I think that the successors to this regime are not likely to roll back the assault on our Constitution. They will take advantage of it and they will exploit it. Will Hillary Clinton as president decide to turn off NSA after the last 5 years of illegal surveillance? Will she deprive her administration her ability to protect United States citizens from possible terrorism by blinding herself and deafening herself to all that the NSA can provide? I don't think so. Unless this somehow by a change in our political climate, of a radical change, unless this gets rolled back in the next year or two before a new administration comes in other words, before the next election. There is no move to do this at this point. Unless that happens, I don't see it happening under the next administration, whether it is Republican or Democrat. Let me simplify this, and not just to be rhetorical. A coup has occurred. I woke up the other day realizing, coming out of sleep, that a coup has occurred. It's not just the question that a coup lies ahead with the next 9/11. That's the next coup. That completes the first. The last 5 years have been a steady assault on every fundamental of our Constitution. What the rest of the world looked at for the last 200 years as a model and experiment to the rest of the world in terms of checks and balances, limited government, a Bill of Rights, individual rights protected from majority infringement by Congress, an independent judiciary, the possibility of impeachment. There have been violations of these principles by many presidents before. Most of the specific things that Bush has done in the way of illegal surveillance and other matters were also done under Lyndon Johnson in the Vietnam War, the use of CIA, FBI, and NSA against American citizens. I think none of these presidents, with all their violations, which were impeachable had they been known and found out at the time, and in nearly every case their violations were not found out until they were out of office, so that we didn't have the exact challenge that we have today. That was true of the first term of Nixon and certainly of Johnson and Kennedy and others. They were impeachable, they weren't found out at the time, but I think it was not in their intention in the crisis situation that they felt justified for their actions to change our form of government. It is increasingly clear with each new book and each new leak that comes out that Dick Cheney and his now Chief of Staff David Addington have had precisely this in mind from the very beginning. Not since just 1992, not since 2001, but they have believed in executive government, single branch government, under an executive president, elected or not, with unrestrained powers all along. I would suggest look up Daniel Ellsberg because he knows what he's talking about. And thanks for tuning in again. And thanks, Joe, for letting me piggyback once again. Good night.